Welcome back to Waking Up is Hard to Do. Thank you for joining me today. And if this content helps you in any way, please like, subscribe, and share with people you know. Today I'll read chapter 6. This is where I want to cover many perceptions created in our minds by society and our leaders. Many laws are created to take away our free will. Our leaders claim this is a free country. Is it really? It is my wish that you read this chapter with an extremely open mind. I have watched closely from a young age as the world around me changed into a place I do not recognize. As a small child, all my neighbors knew each other. Most of them spent plenty of time getting to know one another. I knew not to do anything I shouldn't because one of the neighbors would surely tell my aunt and uncle. Now neighbors slam and lock their doors when they get home, and many stay locked inside in fear of events taking place where they live. Kids run free without guidance because both parents must work full time or multiple jobs just to survive. That is if there are two parents in the household. There are many single parents out there that struggle to make ends meet, and in doing that, they unknowingly are not giving their children what they need to grow in a stable and safe home full of love. We let fear of not being able to survive drive us. If you ask me, that is just sad. I would love to see people come back to what is important, because you know as well as I do, no one wants to spend their lives busting their asses just to survive. It doesn't need to be this way, but it will take many more beings to wake up to the matrix. By matrix, I mean the programming that we have all endured over the years to become dependent on the government when we cannot make ends meet. I have often wondered why we put up with this bullshit. I ask you to believe in yourself enough to know what is right or wrong for you. Often this does not match what society deems right. That is okay. If you take the laws that keep us sending our children to public schools to learn stuff that doesn't encourage uniqueness and teaches them lies about the history of our planet, it fills our kids' heads with information and ideals that are mostly useless to each individual child. The only topics I found useful were basic math and reading and writing the English language. Of course, I love the elective classes such as art and woodshop. However, most of these classes have been removed from schools who claim they do not have the funding for them. I guess my point is, why are we letting other people tell us what is expected of our youth to learn? If our youth is required to attend school, then it should be on an agreed upon schedule between the parent and child. No one else should have a say so. We are set up to fail from the beginning. We go to school to get a less than adequate education, where we learn nothing of what we need to survive in this ill-ran country. I would also like to take this opportunity to point out the similarities between the average school day schedule is far too much like the workday schedule. Coincidence? I think not. Then our youth is pressured to further their education, but this time around it requires payments that most American families cannot afford. So they end up in debt up to their eyeballs from student loans, which I would love to point out, of all the people I have known who have gotten themselves in this situation, never went on to get a decent paying job in the field of their studies. They are not taught how credit scores work or even how to simply balance their accounts. They are no longer taught things like how to cook, drive a car safely, or work on a car. Skills that they can use out in the world to survive. Then comes the feelings of failure because you do what everyone told you to do, just to be miserable and in debt. When chances are, if we started breaking away from the societal programming and doing things our own way, we would find more joy in the way we spend our time. Close your eyes for a minute and picture a world where people cared about how their actions affect so many people. A world where we got to go to work somewhere every day because we genuinely enjoy what we do and love being there. A world where we got paid our worth, but it didn't even matter because greed was no longer an issue. So often I hear people complain about how so and so could have helped them, but wouldn't do it. I have always wanted to ask those people, when was the last time you told someone you wouldn't help them because of whatever reason you thought was fitting and thought were justified? I've worked hard to change how I see absolutely everything, and forget anything I was ever taught. I have put in the work to see the world through my eyes, not everyone else's. I choose to see people through the eyes of love. Nothing else makes sense to me. That's the end of that chapter. I ask you to pay attention to the beliefs you have. What drives you? Is it your own aspirations? Or is it something that somebody else has told you to do that you're unhappy with? Later on in videos, I will go way deeper into the programming that we've been provided that keeps us in a low vibration, keeps us from the happiness that is our birthright. Stop letting other people tell you how to live your life. Stop being afraid of those in control. It's crumbling. Let's be part of that crumbling and bring in this new earth that people can be happy and shine, where we're not made to feel any type of way other than joy and happiness and love. It's our birthright. We weren't, we didn't choose to come here to be miserable. We chose to come here to make changes, changes that are much needed at this time. So I ask you, be brave, dig deep, and start making the changes that are necessary for our children to grow up in a world full of beauty and love and acceptance, not one full of struggle, pain, strife, generational curses. Let's not leave that world behind. Let's leave a legacy that people will talk about for ages because we were able to stand up and fight for what's ours: peace, unity, love. Again, thank you for joining me today. I appreciate your time. I know that life is very busy, so I do appreciate you being here. Please like, subscribe, and share if you find my content useful. Have a wonderful, blessed day. Remember, you are all loved and guided and protected. Now go out there and kick some ass.